Good morning. I'm Mr. Rogers.
And I'm Mrs. Froman.
And these are the video notes for section 5-3. So now we're talking about kind of our new world seed plants, referred to sometimes the angiosperms. So these guys, when you think of plants, probably the most typical, you think of angiosperms. They have flowers, they have a fruit. They're probably definitely the most abundant around. And right off the bat here, guys, you have kind of a comparison between the gymnosperms, like our pine trees, and the angiosperms we're going to be studying today. So our angiosperms, they produce flowers. Hopefully we'll start seeing those in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I hope so.
They produce seeds, much like the gymnosperms do. But they are enclosed in some kind of a fruit. And what the fruit you eat would be an example of that. But there's looks to be not always something you can eat.
Yeah, sometimes it's not really.
But the gymnosperm has that naked seed. So it's not protected or covered in anything like that. So those are some of the big differences between gymnosperms and angiosperms, just in appearance anyways.
And here's some examples between the seeds. Now, the gymnosperm seeds are just those little tiny guys on the scales of the cones. And with the angiosperms, you've got seeds. There's a tomato and an apple. So the seeds are inside that fruit. Now, the Chinese lantern, yeah, that would be one of those fruits. Probably don't want to go out and eat, but animals will eat it. That's how their seeds get spread. So.
All right, so this is one of those times where we're going to have you write something down. We're not going to put it in writing. We're going to say it orally. You should be listening. Yes. So put this picture of a flower in your notes and label the parts that we have labeled, please. So sketch this flower as best you can and label it as we go through it. So the parts of the flower, guys, we'll start with the this is the reproductive structure of an angiosperm. So when angiosperms can reproduce, they create some kind of a flower. Some are pretty, some smell good, some are pretty simple. You don't even notice them.
Some smell bad.
Some smell bad too. Yeah, it just depends on the species.
Who their pollinator is.
Who their pollinator is. So they start with the male part here, is right here. And we have the anther and the filament. The filament just kind of supports the anther. And the anther is going to have the pollen on it. And so bees, birds can come by. As they brush against the flower, it's going to collect on there. So the anther is going to have the pollen. On the female side of the plant, all in one structure, all in the flower, we have the ovary down here at the bottom. In the ovary, we can have the ovule. A lot of times there's many ovules in one ovary.
Right.
And you have the style that kind of connects up here at the top. And the stigma tends to be where the pollen will reach right here as a bird or the bee brushes against it. And that pollen will make its way down through the style into the ovary where it will fertilize the ovules that are in there. And down below here we have the sepals, which are more kind of the protective leaves for the flower.
Yeah.
And the receptacle is kind of that base where it kind of attaches to what's called the pedicle right there.
So those flowers eventually are going to become fruit. And you can see the pistil now has gotten bigger. It's the bottom part of that flower. And over time, those petals will fall off and that matures into the fruit. So the seeds are still there. And actually, like when you eat an apple, the inside hard part is actually kind of the outside of the ovary that encases the seeds. So
this would be in the springtime when the flowers bloom, and then in the fall we harvest the apples, and this is what it develops into.
Yep.
Ooh, all right. So I'm gonna do monocots. You can do dicots. So monocots. Right. So we talk about these angiosperms. There's two kind of major groups we can divide them into, and they're referred to as monocots or dicots. So monocots here I'm gonna talk about are the monocotyledon. They have that one cotyledon, that one area for stored food. One way, it's like a corn you dissect it to be a monocot. It has a one area.
Right.
They have parallel veins. So if you look at the leaf, you can see the veins running through it. They'd be parallel to each other. Their vascular tissue is scattered. So there's no real pattern. You just kind of, it's peppered everywhere. If you cut that stem open, it would just look like it's kind of random more than anything else. The other big indicator is by looking at it, without cutting it open, the petals are in threes or multiples of 3. So 3, 6, 9. Always those petals are always in that the multiple of 3. So some common examples would be corn, the grass you mow in the summertime, lilies, wheat, tulips, all fall into that monocot category.
Then we have the dicots. Dicot means they have 2 of those cotyledons, and the veins in their leaves are branching. So they have main ones that go out, and then there's other little veins that come off of that. So it's a little more complicated than just
straight
the parallel. And their vascular bundles are actually arranged in nice, neat little circles. If you take that stem and cut it across and look at it under a microscope, nice little circle of vascular bundles. Their petals are in 4s and 5s. And that includes things like roses, violets, dandelions, beans, apples. Most of the flowers you're familiar with are probably going to be those dicots.
Remember the beans? We dissect the bean and we cut open and they have the two halves.
Two
That'd be
halves,
the
yeah,
two cotyledons
exactly.
there. So we can see examples of this right here. Here's our monocot and dicot. Now just if we cut that stem open, we're looking down in the stem that we cut open. And so here for the monocot, they're just kind of scattered everywhere. It's these little purple circles.
So what is that actually? What are those little purple circles anyway?
So the vascular tissue, that's going to have your xylem and the phloem in there. So we
so
say
that's
vascular
where the
tissue.
stuff's going up and down.
Up and down, yep.
Okay.
And over here on the dicot, you can see the nice circle of xylem and
those
phloem.
darker circles then are the.
Yep, there you go. There's your
So the
dicot and monocot.
Dicot's all nice and organized. All right, and then we have, when the seedlings first come out of the ground, we have the monocot on the left-hand side. It's just that one leaf. So if we had planted that corn, we just have that one little seed leaf coming out. And the dicots are hopefully like our plants that we planted that have two cotyledons.
And also they have that other characteristic, that parallel leaf veins. You see the parallel lines, those veins running through for a monocot. And like you said, for the dicot, they kind of main branching, and there's little smaller branches that come off. So there's not quite a nice little pattern. They kind of scatter out everywhere throughout.
Then we have our flowers. So our dicots are going to be in 4s and 5s, so and multiples of that. So if you look at some of those have lots and lots.
Maybe that multiple, I think, there.
Yeah.
And the other side of the monocot, 1, 2, 3, or multiples of 3.
Yeah. It's like daylilies and things like that. Yeah.
There's kind of an overview picture, guys. This kind of shows you all the things put together. So there's our monocot with the parallel leaf veins, how the tissue is arranged. The 2 leaves that kind of sprout right away. This one would have the 1 leaf that sprouts right away. It's kind of an overview that shows you all the major parts of a monocot and a dicot. All right. So, I think we got slipped out one in before. I go the wrong way. Went the wrong way.
Went the wrong way. All
right. So then we are done. That's where we got confused. So 7th grade, we're going to stop there, and we thank you guys for watching.
Thanks.